Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you back to this channel, which is dedicated to talking about or the topic of Alabama remote notarizations. And I want you to follow me as we go through the Alabama remote notary law. I'm just now kicking off a 6 to 8 week series here on this channel where we'll be going through the key aspects of what's required, how to do it, and I want you to come with me. I'm not going to waste much of your time at all. I want to jump right in. So let me share my screen. Today, we're going to focus on who can be a Alabama remote notary. Is it just certain individuals or is it wide open? We're going to take a look at the legal requirements, and then I have some recommendations I'd like to make coming from someone who has performed just under 100 of these types of notarizations, more like 80-ish, but I rounded up. Let's look at those legal requirements. As you can tell, the list is very short. Most importantly, the most critical requirement is that you have an active, valid Alabama Notary Commission, period. So those of you who thought you had to get a special application form, if you needed a separate bond, you don't need any of that. Just make sure your commission is active. And keep in mind, those requirements changed last year, September 1, 2023. And so I'm suggesting if you're about to renew, go ahead and do that renewal process first, get that behind you before attempting to do remote notarizations, especially if your commission is coming up for renewal in the next few weeks or the next month. So again, there's no separate application, certification, training that you have to do for the remote piece, and no secondary notary bond. And so everyone in Alabama who has an active notary commission, if they choose, they can be a remote notary. It's really that easy. Now, I say it's that easy. It is until you get into the process itself, which is why I've made the following recommendations. One, I think it would be wise for notaries to have a minimum of 2 years active experience notarizing signatures. Now, I'm not saying just make sure your commission is 2 years old. I mean, hands-on, practical notarization skills, notarizing signatures before you embark on this. There is a lot to traditional notarizations, remembering all the different steps to take. Now you add on being in a meeting that's being recorded and additional responsibilities, that could be a nightmare if you are not prepared. What has helped me out tremendously is that I'm in my fifth, sixth term as a notary, and I'm doing remote notarization. So I'm very experienced in the traditional notary role. And so when I'm doing remote, I'm able to just focus on that piece. That's can still be a challenge sometimes with all of the I's that have to be dotted and the T's that have to be crossed. I also say it's important that a remote notary has excellent knowledge of Alabama's notary laws and industry best practice. Now, keep in mind, our laws just changed in September. And so while you may have an idea of what Alabama notaries laws state, they've changed. So it's imperative that you get on board. And the new law has quite a bit to say about remote notarizations. Keep in mind, I've not come across any law that addresses every scenario that's out there, especially when it comes to notarizations. So that's why I mention knowing industry best practices. So when there is a gray area or a situation that is not outlined in our notary laws, you're going to have to make a decision, and you want your decision to be based on reasonable care and industry best practice. It's very important as well that you have a remote notary has good communication skills and to be proficient using video conference equipment and applications. This is so important because the customer, the signer, is counting on you, the notary, to be in charge to help them troubleshoot their equipment as well as your own. There is not going to be any higher power for you to call to say help. So you need to practice using whatever application you choose to use and make sure that you're comfortable. If you need to go from one app to another, keeping that smooth. What happens if the signer can't seem to come on camera or unmute themselves? You being able to lead them to rectify the problem. And then finally, excellent organization skills and multitasking skills. Remote notarizations are very different from traditional notarizations. With a traditional notarization, most of us get a phone call saying, help, can we meet? We meet, perform the notarization, we're done. That is not true of remote notarizations. There may be several phone calls up front, several emails. You've got to invoice the customer because typically they are not in your community. They're going to be either in another city, another state, or perhaps even in another country. So you've got that pre-work to do, then the actual on-camera online meeting, and then there is a third step after the meeting where the signer or the customer needs to get documents to you to do your piece, and then you have to then send those documents on to its final destination. All of that takes organization, administrative skills that you don't typically have to use doing a traditional notarization for general notary work. So take a moment to jot down what you see on screen. The slides won't be available, but as you can see, that's not rocket science that's on the screen, but it is important information. Not every notary should be a remote notary, okay? The same as with not every notary should be a notary signing agent. So it really, you are the best person or someone who knows and loves you to let you know if you have what it takes to be a remote Alabama notary. Before we wrap up, I want to share with you some additional resources, and then I'll let you know what the topic will be for next week. So we just finished talking about who can be an Alabama remote notary, and the answer is anyone who has an active Alabama notary commission. All right. Next week's topic is going to be Alabama's remote notary law compared to other states' remote notary law. This is going to be a very important discussion next week because this will answer the question, which platform should you use? That's the question I get at least once every week. And when I refer the notary to the actual law, they're like, oh, I read it. I'm like, I don't think you did, because if you read it, you would have found the answer in the law. So make sure you tune in next week. I mentioned a couple more resources I wanted to leave you with. It's on the screen, alabamaremotenotary.com. This is a website that I set up, I manage it. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will find a PDF version of the Alabama remote notarization law. And so if you've been looking for it, here it is. Download it, print it, get your highlighter out, take notes, be ready because we'll be spending quite a bit of time with that. I promise I won't put you to sleep. We're going to go deep. It's going to be quick and deep to hit the high points. So this website not only has the law, but it also has some additional information. The next resource I want to show you, we talked about the key requirement for being a remote notary, which is being a traditional Alabama notary. The requirements to get an Alabama Notary Commission changed September 1, 2023. I want to make sure you know what the new requirements are. I went ahead, I know some folks prefer to read a book than to read a law. So getting started as an Alabama Notary Public. This is an ebook that I published, self-published a month or so ago. You will find it on Amazon Kindle, reasonably priced, very affordable. Yes, it will eventually become available in paperback. Excuse me. But those of you who are coming up for renewal, there are some major changes about who can be a traditional Alabama notary, which of course rolls over into being a remote notary. And then finally, just bringing you back to the YouTube page, but I wanted to point out this video, it's been out here for 2 years. 213 views. Hey, there are over 70,000 Alabama notaries. So 213, I'm not too impressed. But this is a recording of a Zoom meeting I held 2 years ago with several notaries where we went through all the new requirements. I think you may find that helpful as well. So those are the resources that I wanted to bring to your attention. I hope that this discussion or this overview has been helpful to you. Now, here's how you can help me. One, I'm sure you have questions. The best way for you to get those questions to me will be just typing them in the comment below. Also, if you subscribe, you'll be sure to, and ring that bell, you'll get a reminder of when I'm back on and have uploaded another video. Will I eventually do a live on this topic? Absolutely. In fact, I'm expecting to do a few lives so that we can really have a active conversation. This is very important, a hot topic. I'm now averaging about, I'd say 1 a week, and that's up from 1 a month. So the demand is increasing, and I'm sure you as an Alabama notary, want to be there to help meet that demand. Again, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. If you found this helpful, please go ahead and give it a like. I look forward to seeing you the next time around. Have a good rest of your day.